This is a sketchbook tour of my figure drawing sketchbook. I'm filming this on my bed because that's where sunlight is. My dog is under my bed because that's where he is. So hopefully I can edit out any weird noises he makes. This is a book from 2019 it started, and I actually just finished it yesterday, which is what, the 14th? And I just have been going to these events like every couple of weeks, off and on for a while. I think it's really fun to do. It's like solving a little puzzle. And yeah. I like starting like with the quick poses and doing them in marker, and then switching to pencil later on for the longer poses. I always do them really fast, so that's my big thing, like with 30-minute poses. Pretty much always messes them up. I like that face. Because I rush through them a lot. And then blah blah blah. A lot of times when I rush through poses, it doesn't get cut off here, that's just where it ends. A lot of time when I rush through poses and I don't want to work on them anymore, I'll go to other things, like I liked this hand, so I repeated the hands, or like I'll try to get the face down, because you'll see a lot of times there's just floating faces where I try to nail down how they look. This was something I was trying for a little while, where I was using like the primary colors to make it look real. Not a very successful effect, but it still looks fun. I'll probably get back to that when I unearth my colored pencils. My favorite was, this was those Touch 5 markers, which were the knockoff Copic markers, and I had this gray one that was like super dried out, and it was my favorite for quick poses because you could get like a range of values and make it super fun. I love hands and elbows and shoulders. I almost always start with the hands and then ruin the whole proportions, because you should work from the middle out if you want things to look regular and not from the outside in. But it was fun, so who cares if it looks good? And then these are older, like from last year, and I love this. I actually hadn't been to one for a really, like, a half a year probably, and then just went to one yesterday. So like I forgot flipping through these. I was like good at it for a minute. That sort of went away. But that's because I'm out of practice. And as you can see, I love crazy long arms, and I will go for dramatic stuff over proportions quite frequently. I really like the hands on this guy. And this is where you can see my process of, do I have her face? Her face in these ones is pretty fast and loose. And then so in poses, I'm really bad at standing poses. I can just never, because since I don't start in the middle and I start from the hands, I always mess them up. So like you can, what is that? And you can see me like scribbling out her face like a serial killer. And then that one looks interesting. And so a lot of these are just me trying to do the face over and over again until it looks good. I really like this one. It doesn't look like a person, it looks like an alien, but I think it's like fun and interesting gestures. And then I love the hands. I think hands and feet are super fun because they twist around and look all weird. These are just some more of the same stuff. Some more colorful stuff. These ones I used like a lighter blue. I forgot that I was using the dark blue, and I think it looks worse, so I would go back and use the dark blue. And I found out I really like nail polish. to draw that in, because it makes it, you don't have to draw the whole finger, you just draw a circle where it ends. I don't like fully rendering stuff, you might notice. This person had shredded back muscles, and it was so fun to draw. Blah blah blah. I like this. It's definitely not proportional, but I thought that was fun. A bunch of standing poses, and then a real messed up duo of faces. I get her face later on, I'm pretty sure. This whole session was just like me trying to remember how to draw a person. So like those are sort of okay. I really like this pose. The face leaves some to be desired. And then like I finally get her face decently here. I think I do a good one of her face actually. Some back poses. I'm pretty bad at those too, because if you don't render a back, then it's just like a flat thing with nothing to draw. Blah, blah, blah. Scribbles. There we go. I like, again, standing pose, so instead of actually like spending the 20 or 30 minutes to draw that good, I focused on her face, and I actually really enjoy how that one turned out. Then there's her again. And then some more 1 or 2 minute marker poses. More of these. That one's fun. It's like really elongated because I don't control myself. The model for this was like the most acrobatic person. He would be down to do like a 10-minute pose upside down or like some crazy yoga stuff. He was super duper fun to draw. This person's face I sort of get by now because he's one of the people who like runs a lot of the figure drawing sessions, so like I've drawn his face a whole bunch. And then this is like probably some 10-minute pose, but I like liked where it was by the time I got to that point, so I was just doing weird stuff. I can't, like, I'm bad at pacing myself if I haven't done it for a while. Here's the upside down guy again. And again, like, I rendered it, I liked it enough, I didn't want to add to it, so then I just did. That's the thing where you, like, look at something and only draw the negative space and see how it turns out, and I think it's interesting. This is another multicolored one, and a, like, reclining one. Bro. This one turned out like super duper Jesus-y. I think it's interesting. It's like right in the middle of the sketchbook, so it's glued to the next page. Then like a trio. She's the other person who runs things, so I'm like, I understand how to draw her face by now. One of these, and then a sitting pose. Oh, I don't know what kind of sketchbook this is. I had to buy it for art class, and then I ripped out everything I did for that class, because it was, like, boring things, like draw an apple, do whatever. And, like, that's good for learning, but not interesting to look at or keep around. Some more people. I mean, it's a figure drawing book. All the people are people. Some messing up a standing pose and then giving up and drawing the face. My MO. I really, really, really like this one. I was like in the zone, like regularly going to these for a little while, and you can tell when I've been in practice. And this, when is this from? January or November. It's probably November. This was with the Pentel. It must have been November because I didn't. Is that 11/9 or 11/19? I don't know. I don't know these. But this is like that Pentel pocket brush, which I absolutely adore, and then I used up all the ink for other stuff and never brought to a figure drawing thing again. But it was fun while it lasted. This is a wacky page. Again, standing pose, drew a face instead. Really, really bad at standing poses. Which actually, at the most recent one, since it had been so long, I wasn't like, oh my god, a standing pose, and I did pretty good with them, so it was all in my head. That one's pretty alright. This standing. This was like a sitting pose, I guess, and then I think I like scrapped it and started over. And then once I got it to where I liked it, I drew a face instead. Some more. I think this is the start of the most recent one, so I don't know if you can notice the way I can, but the skill level dropped off in the half a year I hadn't done any. But I had a lot of fun. Like, I would do that thing where I had fun with the gesture, and I was like, oh dang, the rest of the page isn't a lot, so they're real short. So, wasn't in practice with doing the page. I like this one though, I think that has fun movement to it. I don't know, I didn't rip out that page recently, so I think I just needed scrap paper. There was some cowboy hats at the session, and it was way too fun to draw the big floppy hats. I was like, I can do that anytime. This is another messed up the pose. I went to do the face, and this was a person I never drawn before, so it takes me a minute to get her face. This is a different face. That's from the one woman running the thing. She, the person running it recommended me Donnell Howell's Sickles and her series Cowgirl Rising. She said that's where a lot of the poses she did that day came from. And I checked her out. She's super cool. Like, I'll put some of her stuff maybe, but really, really cool artist. Something I started doing was, like, it's a 10-minute pose or a 5-minute pose or whatever, and if the hand's floating in the air, it's gonna move. And I actually really enjoy that. So I would draw like the position of arm here, position here, position here. That's a bit more clear here where his like arm sort of orbits a little bit. Probably most people don't like that, but I love when people move around. And then this was like finally getting that person's face right. Another cowboy hat pose. And then the big finale. The last page was all three of them together. She sort of got cut in half. I could have planned a bit better for that. But it was during the sunset because it was social distancing and it was outdoors. And so the sun was like insane. And every time I looked back up, the shadows were different. It was really fun. And then that's the end of that. And I zoom out. Okay. I guess we're zoomed in that much because otherwise it looks bad. This is a sketchbook tour.